Story time about how I was harassed at the gas station. A few years ago when I lived in LA, I would walk everywhere. By the way, you guys want more of my own story time, so here we go. The year was 2016. The victim was me. No, but seriously. I didn't have a car at the time. Actually, I still don't have a car because I can't afford one. So I would take the train or the bus everywhere. On this day, I had an audition in Santa Monica, so I decided to take the bus and then the train. When I got off the train, I walked my cute little tush over to the gas station to grab a bottle of water. I went inside, grabbed my water, and I noticed this guy staring at me. You girls know when a guy is staring at you and he's doing it on purpose. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He wanted me to see him staring at me. I quickly exited and started heading toward my audition, which was like 5 blocks away. I was about 20 feet from the gas station when I hear him yelling at me. He started saying like, hey, do you need a ride? Do you need a ride? And I just said, no, thank you. And I kept walking. Cars were on the street, so I couldn't cross the street just then. So he decided to get in his car and pull up right next to me. As he did this, I could hear him complimenting my body. He started talking about my bum and other parts of my body. I put on my headphones and I just ignored him. But obviously this made him even more upset, right? Because, you know, although I did not put music on because I wanted to hear exactly what was going on. That's when he started saying that I was a bitch and other things for not talking to him. Oh yeah, and then I needed someone to teach me a lesson. Finally, I was able to cross the street and I kept walking. This man turned onto the wrong side of the road so that he could drive right next to me and continue to harass me. He started telling me what he was going to do to me if I actually ever got into his car. I knew that if I responded, it would only accelerate his anger, so I literally did not say anything and kept ignoring him. Finally, some cars were going his way, so he had to get out of the lane and turn around. But this man literally made a U-turn on the street to come back to continue harassing me. I was literally on the verge of tears, but I was like, I'm not gonna let this guy see me cry. Saw a cafe 2 doors down and I decided to walk in. And you better believe he stopped in front of the cafe and just stared inside, waiting for me to come out. Mind you, I had 20 minutes to get to this audition and there was no way I was going to be on time because being on time means being late. But I also did not want him to see where I was going. I went up to the girl at the register and explained to her what was happening. And I just started to cry. Luckily, she was super nice. She gave me a glass of water and just told me to sit down. Luckily, this guy didn't have any patience, so he did drive away. And then I was finally able to walk to the audition, which was like another 3 blocks away. This is why I always used to wear oversized shirts over any dress that I had. Like I have this really big button-up shirt that just hides my body perfectly. But still, this happened. No, I didn't have time to get his license plate. I still remember what he looks like and what kind of car he was driving, but honestly, what am I going to do? Call the cops and be like, hey, this guy harassed me? I sometimes literally stand in front of my closet and think, no, I'm not going to wear that unless I'm with my husband. If you have any similar stories, please comment below because I know I'm not the only one. Also, no matter what you're wearing, you should never be approached like that. If you ever find yourself in a situation like that, just go into a store and wait it out. Who cares? It's better than having them follow you to where you live, you know? Just be safe out there. I love you guys. Bye.
My father was prawn at grounding. I don't think anybody grounded the way my father did, or as frequently. If Arthur was in a bad mood, my phone was getting taken away. And if you ask any of my friends from like when I was in high school, they just like knew I practically lived without a phone because I was getting grounded all the time. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, probably because you were a bad kid. No, I was not a bad kid. I did theater. I was in all AP classes, and I was an absolute loser. I never skipped. I didn't cuss. I mean, in front of my parents. And I just, like, didn't do anything. So what I would get grounded for would be just, like, the silliest shit in the world. Like, I would get grounded for putting my feet on the couch. I would get grounded for not saying yes, sir, and no, sir. Like if I just forgot, if you're like, did you have fun at school today? And if you just said yes and not yes, sir, then you could end up being grounded. I think it's because like my mom like was such a mess. Like my dad, I did not live with him. He had been divorced from my mom for a while. And so basically when he was divorced, my mom just started going like, woo. And I'm gonna be real, you know, she just started doing heroin and that. So basically I think like my dad just really thought that I was like destined to be like on some like 16 and pregnant show. Like I was gonna be like some bad kid. So his thing was to like overcorrect and make sure I just didn't have the opportunity to be bad. Now, this really wouldn't have been a bad thing if my dad didn't go insane. So I had a GPS on my phone. I could not like, after I like the school bell rung, I could not go to like McDonald's. I couldn't go anywhere with my friends. I needed to be home immediately. And one time I actually did go to McDonald's and my mom was like, or my stepmom, She was like, I see you're at McDonald's and you didn't ask me, come home right now, put your phone in my drawer, you are grounded. And I didn't even tell you what grounding was. Grounding wasn't just losing my phone. Grounding was changing the Wi-Fi password. Grounding was taking my TV. Grounding was taking my Xbox. They even at one point debated taking my books. Grounding was so serious that if they went out to eat, I could not go out to eat with them. If they went to the movies, not I. We're gonna have to do a part 2. Give me just like a minute. Oh, phone's dying. So back what I was saying about like grounding, it just wasn't like a thing. It was like I was like socially shunned in my house. If I was grounded, my dad tried to like not talk to me. It got so bad at one point, like I was grounded for an extended months, I think, specifically because I had like, I wanted to teach VBS instead of watching my brothers over the summer for free. I just really was like super on fire for God and like signed up to do this VBS. My dad had thought it was okay, but once he found out how much time it was actually going to take and like basically he was gonna have to pay money for daycare if I didn't watch like all of his children because he like can't stop breeding. He would literally punch me for that. He was pissed, you know, because for him, like, he got really mad that I was being so righteous about it. I was like, it's VBS. I'm teaching children the word of God. We're supposed to be Christian. What's so wrong with that? My dad was like, because you have responsibilities. And I think he was just really upset that I was like pulling like the good old like Southern Christian guilt. Because I mean, at the end, like, I was being a pretty great Christian in that moment. So I tweeted on my laptop earlier that day because he had taken away my phone for me just wanting to like teach at VBS and like not help him out. He was just like really mad. I tweeted from my laptop, sorry, I want to teach vacation Bible school and get paid for it and not watch your kids all summer. My Aunt Mandy liked that tweet when my phone was in jail. He had turned it on because he also went through all my texts because, I mean, psychopath. I don't know. Like, he went through all of them. And I only say psycho because he went through all of them. Like, you would think he was reading, like, a novel. And he saw it. I was doing Bible study with my little sister in my room, singing, like, telling her about this thing, like, doing some shit. He comes in there and he's like, oh, you ungrateful little fuck. You think that you can tweet this and live in my house? Slapped me across the face because I wanted to teach VBS and not watch his kids, and took my Bible. And I was like, he was like, what are you doing? Right before he slapped me. And I was like, oh, I'm just doing Bible study. He's like, oh, does the Bible say this? Whoop-ah! And then I was grounded for the entire summer. 2 months. Got so bad when I got back to school. I was like, I'm just excited to talk because I'm not allowed to at home.
Okay, so story time of the time I snuck in 3 guys into my house while my mom was home. And before any of you start commenting some weird stuff, like for some nasty stuff, no, it was not like that. So this was my sophomore year. I was 15, right? And I had started talking to this guy that was on the basketball team. And one night he was like, oh, we have a basketball tournament near your house. And he had been to my house before. I had snuck him in. And the way he had said it was that he could get a ride at that time, like to go to my house that night, but there wasn't going to be anyone to take them in the morning to the tournament. So he was asking if he could sleep over with his 2 friends so that they can go in the morning to the tournament. And during this time, I was going through a stage where I was getting rebellious. So I was like, yeah, of course, like I'll sneak you in, because there was a big ass window in my room, like the size of a door. Like I could slide it open and you walk in. Like that's how big it was. So they ended up coming around like 11 p.m. and at that time my mom was already asleep and she was going to be going to work the next morning around like 3:30 a.m. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, like come in. So I snuck them in, right? And then I let his 2 friends lay on the floor, and then me and him were on the bed, and I was so fucking nervous that like I couldn't even sleep. Like we were just watching TV, like, which was normal because my mom knew I would stay up. So then they asked me, hey, can we take a shower before the tournament? And I'm like, bitch, like my mom is in the house. I was like, you guys can take a shower after she leaves. She leaves at 3:30. So then it's 3:30 and then I hear my mom get up and leave. So then I take them right to my mom's bathroom, because the bathroom in the hallway was my sister's, but she kept that bathroom so fucking dirty, so I did not want to take them in there. So I take them to her bathroom, and then like first I take one, right? I'm like, okay, like so I leave them there, right? And the guy that I was talking to like came with me to show his friend like where the shower and everything, right? So we're in my mom's room, we're about to walk out of the fucking room, and then I hear some pots in the fucking kitchen, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because my sister wasn't home. So I leave him in the room, right? And I walk out to the living room, and it's my fucking mom. My mom had came back home. When I tell you, my fucking heart dropped like to my fucking ass. And then she starts walking my way like towards her room, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I forgot to get a towel. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'll get it for you. And then she was like, no, I'll get it. And literally I just stood there fucking frozen, like I was so fucking scared. So I'm standing there like frozen, and I hear her going to the room, and I run to my room where there's another guy, right? And he's like, oh, your mom came home. And I'm like we're both freaking out. So I'm literally sitting there on my bed like about to fucking cry, and then I just hear the front door just like close, and like she leaves the fucking driveway, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I run to the room, right? And it's pitch dark and I'm not seeing nobody, and then I say his name and he comes out from under the fucking bed. I don't know how the fuck I did not get caught, or maybe if she knew and she just didn't want to fucking deal with it, but after that I never snuck anybody in.
Storytime about the client who asked me to do her entire service for free. This client just so happens to be the first client that I've ever found on TikTok. Not long after I started making makeup artist story times, I had a few people reach out to me and ask if I would do their makeup. More specifically, if they could schedule an appointment to have their makeup done. We're gonna call this one in particular client Karen, and you'll see why in a second. Karen DM'd my Instagram account saying that she was a TikTok follower and that she had been trying to get a hold of me to schedule an appointment for her daughter. Her daughter was a senior in high school about to attend her senior prom. She told me that her daughter told her that she had been following me on TikTok since the beginning of my Makeup Artist Storytime series. She explained that she was a huge fan and that it would be great if there was any way that I would be able to do her daughter's senior prom makeup. I started by first asking her if she had a specific date or time in mind. Karen gave me all the details of her daughter's prom, and then I realized that she lives halfway across the country. That's when I told Karen that I was extremely appreciative for the opportunity, but there is no way that I would be able to fly halfway across the country. Karen was very understanding and thanked me for my time, but that's not where the story ends. A couple of weeks later, I hear back from Karen in my Instagram DMs. It said something along the lines of, hello, my daughter's senior prom is coming up and we would love for you to be able to do her makeup. Followed by the exact same date, time, and location that she had given me just a couple weeks ago. I was a little confused at first because our first conversation was literally saved right above this one. I responded back and told her again that I would not be able to make the event. I apologized for any inconvenience and I thanked her for the opportunity yet again. But of course, Karen was not going to take no for an answer. Karen started DMing me repeatedly, basically rephrasing her initial question in multiple different ways, and then I finally decided just to give her what she was asking for. I told her that I would be able to make the event if she was able to pay for a round-trip airfare, at least one night of a hotel stay, and pay for my services. Surprisingly, Karen actually agreed to this plan. Karen gave me a budget of $5,000, saying that that should cover my round-trip ticket, a hotel stay, and all of my services and products. To be completely honest, I really didn't think that this plan was going to go through, but I decided to play along anyway because it would be great to be able to meet some of my followers. As the date for her daughter's prom grew closer, I decided to reach back out to Karen and make sure that everything was still okay. Previously, we had agreed on her paying me the $5,000 a couple of days before my departure. When I reached back out to Karen, she informed me that she thought $5,000 was just a little bit too much. I told her I would be willing to negotiate the price, but it would still have to cover the original terms of the agreement. Karen then told me that she would gladly give me her permission to use her daughter's face in a video if I would do the makeup and travel for free. I guess this is just a reminder that if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And yet another timeless Karen story. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported me on TikTok, and don't be a Karen.
Okay, so part 3 of the time Karen called the police on me. So she's like, I don't know, sounds pretty illegal to me that I would be picking up a friend. Then I'm just like, I'm sorry, like, what's the problem? I'm just waiting for a parking spot.